at God, because we will look at and see who God is. If we want to know who we are, then we need to know who God is. And we looked at some of the things, that some of the names of God, because in Hebrew, the name of the thing really says what the thing is. The name of the person says who the person is. And God says, I am who I am, or I will be who I will be. And we looked at some of the names that God calls himself. And these names really were established by certain people under different circumstances. So we had Jehovah or Yahweh, which I am that I am. Jehovah Jireh, I will provide, though the Lord will provide. Jehovah Nissi, the Lord is my banner. Jehovah Shalom, the Lord is my peace. Jehovah Shammah, the Lord is here. Jehovah Sabaoth, the Lord of hosts. Jehovah Elohi Israel, the Lord God of Israel. We said El refers to God or any other God or any God. And I'll tell you something, I had a little problem. I don't think I've even ever shared this with my wife. I had a problem when I started to understand, about God and who God is and the names of God. I had a little problem with my name. My name is Noel. And it means, well, El is God. So it means no God. And, I was wondering, does it, the people who made up this name, does it mean to say that they didn't believe in God, so they say that there's no God? Well, after some time, what I have come to, one, I came to understand that the original was Knowel, which is to know God, not N-O. But I have taken it to mean that I am no God. All right? So I am Noel. I am no God. And but I really struggle with that. I really struggle with that. And so we looked at the names of God, and we saw that even Jesus Christ declared who he was. That's the last thing we did last evening. When he declared, first of all, he told his disciples. In fact, first of all, he asked his disciples, who do men say that I am? And they said, some say you're Jonah, some say you're Elijah, some say you're Jeremiah, etc., etc., some of the prophets. And then he asked them, who do you say that I am? And Peter answered, you're the Christ, the Son of the living God. And Jesus said, blessed are you, Simon Bar-Jonah, for flesh and blood have not revealed this to you. I'll read this again, and you'll understand in a little while I'm reading this. Blessed are you, Simon Bar-Jonah, for flesh and blood has not revealed this to you, but my Father who's in heaven. And he said, you are Peter, and on this rock, this statement you've just made, that I'm the Christ, the Son of the living God, I will build my church, and the gates of hell will not prevail against it. I'll give you the keys of the kingdom, etc., etc. Jesus told him. So, and then Jesus himself, he declared who he was when he rode into Jerusalem on a donkey, because that was to fulfill a prophecy that was made in Zechariah 9:9. Tell the daughters of Zion, behold, your king is coming to you, lowly, sitting on a donkey, a coat, the foal of a donkey. And so by doing that, he himself was publicly stating, hey, I am the king, I am the Christ, I'm the Messiah, the promised one. Okay? So we want to continue with the question, who are you? And who are you is important. Who I am is important. Who I am identifies me. For example, if I give you a check and you go to the bank with it, the check has your name on it, but they have to ensure that it is you, that money on that check or that name on that check represents you, and that it is really you. So what has to happen? You have to take out your ID and show them. You have to identify yourself. So in your identification, they will know it is you. So it's important in certain circumstances for identification of who you are. Because if someone else goes with that same check, the bank will refuse to cash it. They want to be sure that it is you. So who you are is important. Now I want to ask a question. There's a question I've asked before on air, and I'm going to ask, I want you to listen very carefully to this. So there's a knock on your door, or you get a phone call, and the person says, I am looking for Sherry Ann Huggins Phillip. And they say, well, this is she, or whoever you are. I'm just calling Sherry's name, but you know, they call your name. And they say, Mr. Johnson has passed away, and he has left you $5 million. You have inherited $5 million. And we want you to come down to so-and-so. Let's walk with your ID, and the check is yours. That's wonderful, out of the blue. But then when you think about it, Miss Sherry says, well, I don't know many Mr. Johnson. Maybe somebody that knows me. But I'm happy, you know, because I don't know him, but maybe he knows me. So that's a good thing. I mean, I thank you, Mr. Johnson. So you go down, you, the next day, get dressed, dress up real nice and thing, because you're going to pay $5 million check. And you reach there now, and they bring out the documents for you to sign. And, you know, you ask, well, you know, how come Mr. Johnson left this to me and whatnot? And they said, well, you know, he says you're some long lost relative, etc., etc. And he has no other family. You're the only family he has. He doesn't have a wife, he doesn't have children, he has nobody at all. All right? And he's left it for you. So you accept the check. But something, you know, you're bothered because you're still troubled. So you decide to make some inquiry. And you inquire, in your inquiry, well, you have $5 million now, so you could afford to hire a private investigator or whoever. And they come back with a report which says, listen, we left it for Sherry Ann Huggins Phillip, you know, but it's not you. It's another person with the same name. But guess what? That person have no relatives either. They had no relatives, no son, no daughter, no husband, anything, and the person died. So there's nobody the money is going to. What do you do? That's my question for you. I'm not asking you, Sherry, Elder Sherry. I just use your name. That's the first name that came to mind. What would you do if your name is on this? You ready to answer? Go right ahead. Go right ahead. Go right ahead. What would you do? And I want to hear some answers tonight. My name on the check. Since they came to me, they didn't go to the dead person. They came to me, my name on the check. I would forget I had an investigator. Okay, I hear you. I hear you. Anyone else? Jimmy said, that is my own. How you mean? Anybody else? Come, let's hear you. Let's hear you tonight. Let's hear you. Talk to me, somebody.
That is my Joshua.
Wait. Let's do it in order. Yeah, put up on their hand. Put up on their hand, please. Yeah.
Joshua.
Dr. Richards, I think that me personally, I am taking the money based on the fact that one is $5 million, and $5 million is a very big amount of money. And two, the intended person has already gone, and there's no way they could spend it unless they could, I don't know, come back and get it. But other than that, you giving back $5 million to who? When $5 million came to you, I mean, it clearly came to you for a reason, right? I mean,
it came for a reason. Okay.
Yeah, maybe there was a reason why they mixed it up in the first place, and this is God's way of rewarding you. So I'm just taking it because the person is dead already, and they have no relatives, no nothing. So you might as well give it to me. It's my name as well.
Okay, Mr. Joshua, thank you. Come on, Jonathan.
And let's see.
Dr. Richards, I personally won't take the money, right? Because you don't know if the money fake or real, so I just want to let that whole $1 million go to waste. I'm not taking that money at all.
But it's real, Jonathan. It's real.
Well, still, I would just give it away to somebody else.
Okay. No, give it away to your father, please. Anyway, move on. Let's move on. Auntie Gail says it's a godsend. Who else? Come on, people, talk to me.
Sister Mitzi.
For me, first of all, I would say thank you, Jesus, because the person that I'm not rejoicing that the person died, but who else would take that money? I will take it and say, God, thank you for the blessing, and then I will use it to bless others. I will keep some for myself and bless others. I wouldn't be greedy. So and I will dance and rejoice because that's a lot.
Okay, Sister Mitzi.
Sister Stacy.
Hi, guys. I keeping it. I help people, but I keeping it. Some is mine, but I keeping it.
It's yours, your name on it. Okay.
Yep.
Anyone else? Anyone else want to offer an opinion?
Dr. Richards, that is not a trick question, because I think it's evident, that I will take the money, because as Joshua said, it could be that Auntie Gail said Jonathan should give her the money. If he's giving it away, give it to her. I am saying, Dr. Richards, if the reality, the only answer to that is to keep it. Because the check is on my name, the person dead, end the story.
Michelle said she'd be dancing like David. Okay. All right. So everybody's saying that they should keep it. It will help the needy to keep, and I will help the needy and keep the rest. Okay. Anybody has any contrary, and when I say contrary, another opinion? Is there anybody who would give back the check?
Good night, everyone.
Aye.
I would not keep the money because first begin, same name, yes, but it wasn't mine in the first place to keep. So with all things, with being equal, give it back. And if I am supposed to get it, I will get it after, not keep it.
But how will you get it if you're supposed, when you say if you're supposed to get it? Remember, everybody's gone. It's on your name. The person who really supposed to get it is dead.
You said the second person died.
So there's nobody alive. So are you saying you're going to give it back and in the hope that the people will still give it to you?
The lawyer, whoever is the person in charge.
Okay, I'm not hearing you.
Not the total amount, maybe, but bless me in some way.
Okay.
I said not all, they mightn't give me back all the money, but they might bless me in some way.
No, well, I don't think they would be able to bless you because the money is either yours or it's not yours. So they can't bless you in any way. That money would probably go to the state. All right?
Well, it will have to go back to the state.
Okay. All right. Anyone else?
Good night.
Hi.
Here's a sister. If like for example for me, one of my aunts. Hello.
We had Sister Christine hand up. So as soon as you're finished speaking, then we'll let Sister Christine speak after you. Okay?
No problem. Sorry. Yeah. If it's on my name, I will give it, and it's same Ursula David, I will give it back. If it's our next Ursula. If that person pass on, I return it because it's not mine. It wasn't set for me.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sister Christine?
Yeah. I would have feel guilty because knowing that I am a child of God and getting that check, even though they say it's on my name and I pay for an investigator and he come back and he say, well, it's not you, it was somebody, but the person passed away. Whatever information he give me, I will give it to the head, whoever whoever will see about that. And if possible that they say, well, okay, ma'am, well, seeing that you bring it back and the person not alive and whatever, we would like to give it to you also. maybe in that way. But other than that, I don't think I will ever receive that money now that I get to realize I am not the person who was to collect it already passed away. I will feel guilty and knowing it come like I had to repent and all over again. So no, I will not receive that.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Anyone else? Nobody wants to take another shot at it?
No hands, Dr. Richards.
Okay. No, I don't want to call anybody name, although I was hoping that certain people would answer. But I don't want to pick out anybody. It's just so the question is, remember we're asking, who are you? Who are you? Is that really you that money belonged to? Is that really you that money came to? Now, I cannot tell you that you're wrong for keeping it. I am not saying that. All right? That is something between you and God you will have to decide. But I would ask the question though, suppose, let's look at another scenario where somebody comes to take your life and it's really not you, they're somebody with the same name, and they put out a contract on the person, and the killer ends up by you. What would you do? Wouldn't you beg and plead and try to reason with them to tell them, this is not me. I am not that person. Wouldn't you do that? I'm just asking. Just a point to consider. Because when it was beneficial to us, $5 million, we would want to keep it, not let anybody know. But in another scenario, when it's not beneficial to us, you show them your ID. Well, your ID would have your name on it. So you're killing yourselves here, Sherry, because of the fact that it's the name they came for. And if you show them, they might not have been sure who it was before, but now they know because you show them your name. All right. So that can be committed suicide. So just some things to think about, it's just something to think about. Some people say, well, maybe God orchestrated it that way, and that's why your name on it. Could very well be. I can't say. All right. And this is one that has to be up to your conscience, because if it was a scenario where the person might have passed away, but they have relatives, they have children, they have family who could inherit the money, that's one thing. But if it is that there's no one else, yes, it's Misha. If there's no one else, that money would probably go to the state.
Dr. Richards, Jonathan.
Okay, just a second, Jonathan. That money would probably go to the state, not state, sir, not the United States, the state. And we don't know what they will do with it. Or maybe the person who are administrating the estate might find some way of keeping the money. We don't know. I can't say. All right. But it's just something to think about when we look at the question, who am I? Who am I? That's what we're trying to find. Who am I? Yes, Jonathan.
Dr. Richards, I would give the bounty hunter $5 million. I'll say I just got money from a dead man. Here, take it.
Jonathan, you're so noble. I salute you. I salute you myself. I salute you. Okay, let's move on. So who you are has to do with your identification. All right? Who you are also gives you a sense of belonging. Who you are gives you a sense of belonging. Can anybody here tell me who Peter's father was? Peter in the Bible? Anybody knows his name?
Is it Zebedee? If I'm not mistaken, I'm not sure.
Zebedee? No, it wasn't Zebedee. Zebedee was the father of James and John.
Oh.
Nice try. Anybody? Nobody knows Peter's
Brother
father.
Sheldon, hand is up, Dr. Richards.
Brother Sheldon.
Is it Jonah? Was bad Jonah means Bar Jonah means son of Jonah.
Correct. Correct, Mundo. And I read it just now and I told it would be important. He said, Simon, when Jesus answered, he said, blessed are you, Simon Bar Jonah. Bar means the son of. Okay? So Simon Bar Jonah is Simon, the son of Jonah. He was identifying him. And in those days, whose son you were was very important. It gives you a sense of identity, a sense of belonging. Whose son you are. You know, there's some declaration that my son, but like I see these days, they don't say it anymore. But my 3 sons have a declaration that they're supposed to make every morning. It goes something like, I am Joshua Richards, son of Noel Richards. And Joshua says it, you know, when he's opening, I am Joshua Richards, son of Dr. Noel Richards and First Lady Nicole Richards. You know, I am, this is who I am. I am their son. And Jesus always identified with his father. So it gives you a sense of belonging. It tells you where you belong, where you fit in. I am the son of. So we're looking at who we are. Who we are, why it's important? Because it also gives you access or favor. Who you are. Could you imagine the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago standing in line to go and cash a check or do something, go into an office? No, he is the Prime Minister. He doesn't wait in line. He doesn't stand in line because of who he is. So it gives him quick access. I remember, I don't know if I've ever told you about this, one day, many, many years ago, I went somewhere to sing at church way down in South. And I was trying to get on stage from backstage. And I was going on stage and they were announcing my name and I was going on stage and this woman blocked me. She said, you can't pass here. I said, but I have to go. She said, you cannot pass here, sir. I mean, she was firm, but she wasn't rude. She just said, listen, you can't pass here. All right. So I just said, cool, no problem. So I went, you had to go right around the church to go back on the other side and go up on stage. When she saw me on stage, she didn't realize it was me they were calling. Otherwise, she would have never stopped me. But because of she didn't know who I was, she said, you can't pass it. I could have told her, but, you know, I was trying to be nice and polite. And I said, okay. That young lady turned out to be related to me later. She was the wife of she is the wife of my sister, right? So First Lady was one of your sisters, and I'm sure you know which one of them that was. Okay, so who you are also gives you access, it gives you favor. Now, who you are also is one of the things I found out recently is that who you are is your brand. I was told, somebody said that to me, said, listen, I don't remember what the conversation was about.
I'm Dr. Richards.
Yes.
I just wanted to let you know, I don't know if you realize, but I think you mixed up your words just now and you said the person who was talking to you turned out to be the wife of your sister. I think you meant it the other way around.
The wife, did I say the wife of my sister?
Yes.
The sister of my wife. My apologies. The sister of my wife. Oh my goodness, my sister doesn't have a wife. Okay, yes, the sister of my wife. Okay, one of her sisters. She has 3 sisters. It was one of them. And it was her church, the church that she was in. So thank you, Joshua. All right. But who you are is also your brand. It's also your brand. It tells people this is what I do, this is who I am. And I found that out a couple of years ago. A conversation I was having with a person, he's deceased now. And I was saying, but I don't think, you know, I could go there, do that. I don't know what it's but he said to me, he said, listen, you are a professor. And I said, yeah. He said, do you know that is a brand? And I didn't understand what he meant. He said, professor is a brand. This could get you into places. This could get you favor because of who you are. And I didn't understand it then, but I understand it now because I've seen it happen. people have treated me a particular way when they find out who I am. I might be somewhere and then I open my mouth to talk and, oh, I remember once I went to, I guess I could say it because it was a long time ago. I went to the ID card office. I mean, that's a long time ago. And I'm standing in line and I heard, I am way in the line, and I heard, could Noel Richards please come up to the thing? And I'm like, I don't understand, because I'm standing in line. I didn't reach up there. And again, I heard my name called. And I said, even though I'm hearing my name, I didn't really believe it was me. And then a person came and looked at me, and just called me. And I went, and they ushered me inside and did my ID. And the person knew me because I was professor. So I was able to, and that's when I began to read Professor really is a brand. But it has to be a good brand. The Bible says in Proverbs 22:1, a good name is to be chosen rather than great riches. A good name is to be chosen rather than great riches. Love and favor rather than silver and gold. So who you are is your brand. It tells people this is what you're made of. That's who you really are. Now, some people get confused with who they are. And when I say confused, I can tell you, for me, Noel, Professor, Richards, I'm talking about the name people call me, Dr. Richards, Pastor Noel, Pastor Richard, they're all the same person. Daddy, honey, they're all the same person. But some people are different people depending on where they are. But once you know yourself, and that's why we ask the question, who are you? Because some people become somebody else depending on where they go. Even some of my colleagues, you wouldn't want to meet them. Let me not say. All right? But it's important to know who you are. Who you are is a brand. Now, a couple of days ago, just about a week ago, I was, and this is by way of information, I'm taking the opportunity now to share it with you. I have been nominated for an international award. And let me just read to you a little bit of it. It says, this letter is to inform you that the name has been submitted to the World Karate Union Hall of Fame for your induction. The event will be held on the evening of Saturday, 24th June 2023 and 25th June 2023. And it will be held in the fabulous Split Rock Resort, 428 Mousewood Road, Lake Harmony, PA. I don't know if PA is Pennsylvania, USA. Do not deny yourself the honor of recognition. You deserve it. And your friends, family, and students would want you not to miss this prestigious honor. It goes on to say, this is one of the highest honors you can receive in the world of martial arts as a non-martial artist. In 2019, we had over 200 candidates from all over the world, and we inducted 450 persons. Oh no, we inducted 200 candidates, and it was attended by over 450 persons, etc., etc. So this group of people is an international award that I am supposed to be given in June. And when I asked the person who called me, they said it is because of who you are. The things that you have done has shown who you are. You have been there and you have been advocate. I'm just telling you what was said to me. This is not we are boasting or anything. I just want to share this because of what we're discussing. They said, you know, they have looked at you over the years, what you have been doing. You have a men's program, and we are, you know, there are so many men that have been blessed by it. And we have looked at you and your contribution to society. And for that reason, we want to recognize you. So I am supposed to be given this prestigious award sometime in June. Of course, there are some little challenges because it means I have to get to the States and some other thing that we could probably discuss another time. But people recognize you for who you are based on what you do. You cannot hide who you are, whether good or bad. It comes out in how you treat people, how you interact with people, what you do for them, with them. And people are looking at you even when you don't know they're looking at you. So my question to you is, who are you? Who would these people say you are? Would they be glad to say, listen, I know this person? But someone would be happy to know you because of who you are? Who are you really? And I want you to ask yourself that question. We're closing off now, and we will continue on Tuesday. But who are you really? Jesus said, who do men say that I am? And who do you say that I am? My question to you is, who do people say that you are? Do they know you? Do they know the real you? Do they know the you that when nobody else is looking, the you that when nobody is looking, the you that comes out, the you that is really you? Who are you? And so we ought to be asking ourselves that question, who am I? Because I could be nice and warm and everything else in front of people. But when I go back, I'm a real pig, cussing my wife. The neighbors and they can't believe that I'm a Christian, that kind of thing. Who are you? So we are on this journey of self-discovery. We're asking that question, who am I, or who are you? Do you have a good name? A good name is to be chosen rather than great riches. Who are you? Next time on Tuesday, we'll go into who you are determines your worth. What is your worth? If I were to ask you, how much are you worth? How would you quantify that? How do you know how much you are worth? What makes you valuable if you are? Is it the car you're driving? Is it the house you have? Is it something else? What makes you worth anything? We will look at that on Tuesday, God's willing, when we come back. But I want you to think about that over the weekend as you go. And of course, we'll be coming back tomorrow morning, God's willing, at 4 a.m. But 3 for worship and 4 for prayer. But I really want you to think of that question. Who am I? Who am I? Yeah, God bless you. Have a wonderful, wonderful night. We'll see you in the morning again. First Lady, I'm handing back over you. I'll give you a couple of minutes to wrap up, First Lady. But people really, I really want you to think about it. All right. And you know, the answer you might come up with may not be the answer that somebody else comes up with. Huh? When you see yourself, when you really look at yourself, because a lot of times we think we're good. We're good, man. I'm real good. I'm a good person. And someone else may not be seeing that. So do a really honest self-check, self-evaluation. Who am I?